Do you believe they'll trade Deebo Samuel? Because right now they're saying, well, we don't want to trade him, and the asking price, if you want him, it's sky high. So do they actually end up being able to move him?
Let's talk about the consequences of if they don't trade Deebo Samuel. Because I've seen a lot of people say the Niners have leverage. I thought that first. Niners have leverage here. He's under contract. They can franchise tag him. They can really, break his balls. Well, here's here's what's complicated about that. His agents are Tory Dandy and Jimmy Sexton, CAA. You know about the agency. This is like the most powerful agency. They have clients in Hollywood. They're very big and very powerful. And if the Niners do this to one of their top clients, we're not going to trade you. You have to stay here. And we're going to franchise tag them. Well, now CAA may tell their clients, don't sign with the 49ers. That's a terrible organization. They will not do right by. We recommend, we're not going to do business. All of us, do you really want to put a wedge between you and CAA? They have a lot of the best players. So I feel like his agency has some power here, and I don't think the Niners necessarily want to go to war with the top agency in football.
And I think that's where it's at as it pertains to the leverage. Because again, does Deebo have leverage in the sense of he can force whatever he wants? No. 49ers have the power because of the way things are structured right now with the CBA. You cannot hold out.
No.
But there is leverage just in the sense of your best player on offense, or, him and Trent Williams, but your best young player on offense does not want to play for you. And I think just that in general, again, you can hold him against his will, but who wants to really do that?
Yeah.
So, who wants to go through a season with a guy that is disgruntled?
Yeah.
And maybe Deebo is just a great person and he can overlook it. We saw Jimmy Garoppolo go through a season like that. I don't take Deebo and Jimmy as the same person.
No, Jimmy never requested a trade.
Yeah.
Jimmy still hasn't requested a trade. I just don't think that I don't.
He did it originally. Remember, originally he talked about like Jimmy when he heard it, he was upset.
Yes.
But it's like, okay, I'm upset. Whatever. I talked to him about it. We're going to push through it. And I think he did the best that he could do considering the situation that was very weird. I don't know if Deebo would handle it as well as Jimmy did.
Probably not. It's interesting. There's reports now that the Niners have no intention of trading Deebo Samuel. That doesn't mean they won't. That's kind of like, hey, it's really going to take a good offer. I feel like what the Niners right now are doing is asking for 2 first-round picks for Deebo, knowing that they'll probably settle for 1. And that's just where they are. I have a feeling they're going to trade Deebo. I don't think they want a disgruntled star in their locker room. I don't think they want to be seen as an anti-player organization. I think they want to be seen as, hey, we tried. We like Deebo. Deebo has some weird reasons that he doesn't want to be. He's like California. He doesn't like playing running back. It's not up to us. As soon as he made the request, we tried our best to get a deal done and get the best deal possible. So this is Deebo's fault. We want him to be here as Deebo's. We're gonna honor his request because we're pro player, just like we traded Buckner. That's how I think they're gonna spend it that way.
What do you think about this trade? And let me know if you do it. Someone earlier talked about a future pick, but say New York Jets. They're not. I know they have pick 4 and pick 10, and everybody wants those. But what about right? And that's not what they offered for Tyreek Hill. They offered pick 35, 38, and 69.
69, yeah.
So what about if they offered 35, 38, and a future first?
That's interesting, again, because the Jets might be terrible next year.
Right. So you might have a top 10 pick, which you don't even have a pick. And that would be the last year that the whole, first round thing with Lance runs out. But, you still have multiple picks. Now you're picking at 35, 38, 61, and 69. I feel like that you can get kind of a good little haul there of guys that can contribute.
I just think what the Niners are thinking, like, what can we sell to our fan base so they don't revolt? Because it's going to be a tough sell. We traded Deebo. And I think they're going to have at least 1 first-round pick in that package. If it's just 2 seconds, Niner fans are going to lose their mind.
Do they have to sell it to the fan base, though, when he has come out and he requested a trade? See, like the Buckner, you kind of got to say, it's like, what? You traded DeForest Buckner? Deebo has come out and said, I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
So how hard is like, hey, we had to. And I think the fans, all you can do is respect it.
Yeah, it's true. And the Niners are doing a very good job of making it seem like, hey, it's so not our fault. We would pay him what he wants. He just doesn't like this and that. He's arbitrary. It's like there's no talking to this guy. I don't buy it. I really want to hear Deebo's side of the story. Matthew says, if it's all business, why didn't Deebo's agent sit him down during the running back stuff and intervene? Should have known this was coming. This isn't new stuff. What do you think?
Yeah, but again, he maybe trusted them a
Yep.
little bit throughout that situation. All right, Kyle wants me to do this.
I trust Kyle.
We're winning with
Kyle's
it.
team.
We're balling. We're doing our thing. We're pushing towards the playoffs. He put the team first, and you got to respect Deebo Samuel for that. But again, if it got sour, which it sounds like it has, the team didn't put him first.
Right. And again, I think when you're a third-year player on your rookie deal, you don't really have a lot of leverage to say, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to do this. Like you're this close to getting the bag, as it were. You're going to do whatever the coaches say. Yes. Yes. And then you think they're going to reward you. And then you realize that the world is not a fair place. That's what Deebo just realized. I tried to tell him, man. I was like, dude, the Niners are not fair. The world is not fair. You're going to learn. And he was like, what are you talking about? Well, I'm still waiting on my apology, man. That was whack. Blocking me. Little Rumble 24 says Deebo plus 61 for Chase Young and Scary Terry. Oh.
Well, Chase Young is coming off of an ACL injury.
Man, it's true.
I mean, one, Deebo plus 61. Chase was the number 1 overall pick. Yeah. And to pair him on the opposite of Bosa, they're going to want more for that.
I would think so.
Just if you were to say, all right, we want to trade Deebo for Chase Young straight up, they're going to want Deebo plus something else. And so now you throw in Scary Terry, who is 1,000+ yard receiver. It's not going to take just Deebo and pick 61.
What about Deebo for Scary Terry and a pick?
Now, yeah, that might work.
I'd be more interested in that than trading Deebo for just picks and hoping that one of because like wide receivers bust all the time.
But even then, you still got to pay Scary Terry. So I'm not trading for Scary Terry when I have Ayuk, and if I do trade Deebo, then I have the opportunity to get that type of production out of Brandon Ayuk.
Ethan says they stopped using him as a wide receiver right before 1K yards. Yeah, you could argue the Niners like, man, this guy is going to get 2,000 yards receiving, and he's going to be. Do you understand how expensive Deebo Samuel is going to be? Let's play him running back. No, I mean, they needed to win games, and it was how they won games last year. They were 3-5 with him playing primarily wide receiver, and that's not his fault. That's their fault. That's just how they're built. Like they're literally not built to pass the ball. Niner Nation 85 says, I think the Niners should give Samuel a $50 million guarantee with the possibility to get more from a rushing yard incentive. Let him bet on himself. Yeah, but I think we're a little bit past that.
Well, I think the Niners should give Samuels a $50 million guarantee with the possibility to get more.
Rushing yard
why? Now, if I'm Deebo, I just saw Diggs and these guys get $70 million guaranteed. Why would I take anything less guaranteed than what they were? Especially if you're planning on using. Matter of fact, if you are planning to use me as running back, I want more security. I want 75 million guaranteed.
That's right. That's a good point. And the thing, it's not just what Deebo wants; it's what his agent wants. His agent does not fuck around. Okay, he just made Denzel Ward the highest paid corner ever, right? Something like that in the league. Yeah. He's not messing around. Like Torrey Dandy isn't in this to be like, I got you a decent contract, Deebo. Good job. Like he wants to get the best contract for him and AJ Brown, and that's just the way it is. He has a heavy duty agent.
Denzel Ward got he got 30 million more guaranteed than JC Jackson. And JC Jackson was on the open market. You're supposed to crush it on the open market. People are supposed to overpay. I get it. You want to be in California, whatever. But 30 million more guaranteed, that shows like his agent, he ain't playing around.
And I think the issue here with the Niners is the guaranteed money. Like Tyreek Hill is averaging $30 million a year because his last year of his contract, which doesn't count as $45 million. It's the guarantees that matter. And I think everyone's saying like the Jimmy Garoppolo situation has nothing to do with the Deebo situation. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if the Niners give Deebo Samuel like a big signing bonus this offseason, doesn't that get prorated, averaged out for the length of the contract? And wouldn't that affect his cap number this year? A signing bonus? Am I wrong? Or that?
I don't know how that. I got to get a PFF. Draft.
We got to find the answer to that because if a signing bonus would raise his cap number this year, then Jimmy Garoppolo being on the team definitely does affect this. Just saying. Right. D-Wood 7300 says, I think Niners started low, believing the negotiations would start. If the money was right from the start, he would sacrifice further. He's 26. There's nothing for him in the Bay Area, Miami, LA, Las Vegas. Yeah, I guess the Niners thought that that Deebo would actually sit through with painful negotiation. And he was like, nope, I don't want to do that. I don't do
Again,
that.
I mean, but again, I think most people thinking logically would, if we're just negotiating, okay, whatever. I feel like there was something that like insulted Deebo.
Yeah, I would think so. Chase says Deebo said with Matt Mayoko he won't train with Lance unless he comes to Miami. He won't train in California. Did he? Is that today? I missed that.
Yeah, no. He didn't say it today. He said it like a while back. He said it on like Mayoko's show or whatever. Sitting down with Mayoko, like it's like an actual audio of it.
He's like, I'm not training in California. Not happening.
Well, Mayoko kind of worded like, hey, you're going to work with Trey Lance this offseason. He was like, no. Nah. I told him if he wants to come work with me, if he, he can come to Miami. But he said, I'm not training in California. And he was like, oh, okay. You can tell kind of got a little awkward. He's like, so are you going to train in California at all? It was something along those lines. He's like, I'm not training in California.
Wow.
I train in Miami. That's where I do my offseason every year or whatever he said.
Maybe.
But really, yeah, he ain't training in Cali. So when you see all the other receivers working with Trey Lance in California, there's no Deebo. It's like, nah, I'm doing my stuff in Miami.
Look, Miami's cool, but I don't understand liking Miami better than California. I'm just a California guy. Miami's cool though, but like, really, you don't like California at all? I don't understand that.
My thing is, you can't, and I fly around a lot, right? Like I travel damn near every other weekend.
Okay, and
you can fly in for 3 days. And just if you are the leader of the group, which he is, he's the big dog, he's the guy. Yeah, all right, hey, I won't be out there all off season or anything like that, but on April 10th, before I'll come out there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll get work in, and then I'll head back to Miami for the rest of the time before OTAs. And there just wasn't none of that. Now, the only thing, again, I would say the contract stuff, but he said this before any contract negotiations, because there could have been like, hey, from his agent, hey, you don't do anything with 49ers or anything like that. But he said this like during the Super Bowl week.
Right.
So there wasn't even the contract negotiation stuff yet. It was just, I'm not going and training California.
I mean, does this lend credence to the theory that he wants to leave simply because he wants to play closer to home? I mean, it might.
It could be.
Eventually, hopefully, Deebo Samuel or his brother, one of the two, will come out and say what's going on. Because I feel like his brother fucked up. His brother spilled the beans and is the reason we're having all these conversations. This would have been a private matter. They either would have traded him or they would have worked it out behind closed doors. But Deebo Samuel's brother started making comments on Facebook. That was days ago. Someone finally found it, and then boom, the floodgates open. So thank you, Deebo's brother.
And people tried to like discredit it, and I'm like, listen, I know my brothers and my best friend Donald or my big brother, we talk about everything. So if one of them come out and say something, whether I want it out there or not, like we had that conversation.
Yeah.
Now, hey, it's not for you to say it and post that on social media, but I knew once he said it, I'm like, this is happening.
What would it take? Damian wants to know, what would it take to get Jonathan Taylor from the Colts? Deebo?
I mean, what it take to get Clinton Portis from the Broncos? Like Champ Bailey, one of the best corners in the NFL. Like, you know what I'm saying?
So I would think maybe Deebo. And I think maybe you probably wouldn't want to trade Deebo for a running back. I'd trade him for a wide receiver. But Jonathan Taylor is the best running back. He might be one of them. Leo says, hot take, Kinlaw didn't finish Senior Bowl practice, didn't play in the Super Bowl game, had issues in college. He should have never been drafted. Is that a hot take? I mean, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, no, I mean, you were on it. Me, you know me. I try to view from the players and things like that, but you were on that the whole time where you're like, hey, guy got one knee.
Yeah, one knee. The Niners shouldn't be doing this. And if they do that with Jameson Williams, I'm gonna have to wonder too. Although I like Jameson Williams, he's great. He's explosive, really good. But at a certain point, when do you stop betting on people with one knee? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
There are guys out there that's healthy with two knees.
Like, I know, and like guys do it, like tear their ACL and come back. Cooper Kupp did it, but like those are professionals at the top of their craft. Like you're betting on amateurs who've torn their ACL. Like they haven't even anyway.
Yeah, young. You don't know their habits of how they're going to prepare. Like I think when Bosa tore his ACL, like I wasn't worried about him coming back and still being a good football player. As opposed
he's sort of been a professional football player since he was 14.
Right. And as opposed to some other people that might not be as mature about the situation.
True. That's a good point. Raheem says, is it crazy to think the Deebo situation has more to do with what they are offering Bosa versus him and him feeling he is more valuable and important to the team than Bosa? I mean, any theory works at this point. It's interesting. Either that or he doesn't like paying for plastic bags in California. Paper bags.
I mean, I think the Bosa thing, and we are talking about all this, nobody's talking about that.
Right.
And there could be something along the lines of, we need money for Bosa because he's going to demand even more money than Deebo. So Deebo, we can only give you 50 million guaranteed or whatever.
Right.
I don't know how to, like, it's like maybe their hands are kind of tied. We already made Trent Williams highest paid tackle. We already made Fred Warner highest paid linebacker. We already made George Kittle highest paid tight end. Like,
and we're going to make both of the highest paid defensive linemen.
And he will be the highest paid defensive player.
Yeah.
So maybe this is all we can do. And he's like, well, F you did. I don't, again, that's more speculation, but I'm just trying to look at it from, trying to make sense of this situation.
Yeah. And if I were Bosa, I would have the ego, the pride, the belief that I was more valuable than Bosa. And I would be like, why are you going to give him more than me? Why?
Right.
Why? I don't get that. I'm just saying, I would feel that way. Steven says, what kills me about the Niners front office is everything is a mystery. They're never honest with fans, and we're always left guessing.
I feel like they're more honest than people. And I saw somebody in the chat, like, crap be capable for the organization. I feel like they are a little bit more open and honest. I almost feel like sometimes I'm like, John Lynch, shut up. You don't have to say anything.
Right.
Or Kyle, like, he's up for, like, yeah, man, hell, yeah, we would have traded Jimmy Garoppolo, but he got hurt. So now we have to have him, and it's what the situation is. But, that's why we like Trey Lance. That's why we're trying to move on from him. It's like, he's still on the roster. And you're talking about how you just were trying to get rid of him. I feel like they are a little bit more open than people can give them credit for.
They definitely want to seem like one of the more transparent teams in the league. But at the same time, I feel like they're so concerned about controlling the narrative that I don't really believe them a lot of times when they talk. And I know you're not supposed to, like, say, hey, he's lying. So I'm just like, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. So I can't wait to hear what John Lynch says next week, because I feel like in a very polite way, he's going to blame Deebo Samuel for everything. Look, we love Deebo. We love Deebo. But for whatever reason, Deebo doesn't want to be here. What can we do? It's like, really? You don't know why? You're just going to play dumb and be like, Deebo's temperamental, Deebo's dramatic. I mean, that's what the implication is going to be. He has some unknown reason, doesn't want to be here, and he's not entering negotiations in good faith. Really, John? Or did you lowball him? Tell us the truth. Tell us the truth.
Yeah. Now, he might not be transparent with that.
I don't think so. Bay Area Niners says theory wants $20 million as a wide receiver plus $10 million as a running back, $30 million wide back. Niners says we can't obviously do that. Deebo says, okay, fine, $25 million. Only use me as a wide receiver. Your guess is as good as mine, man. I like it, though. Justin says front office misjudged his personality. Way too Old Testament kind of a guy to be disrespected or taken advantage of. Do him right. He will also. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. He feels betrayed. I think it's a little bit of like a loyalty and betrayal thing going on here.